Welcome back to Andertons TV. I am Oz, and I am here with Mr. Jamie Stillman from EarthQuaker. How are you, man?
I'm great. How are you?
All good. How was your chat with Lee?
Wonderful.
Wonderful.
Always, yeah.
Cool. Jamie's just done a video with Lee talking about the 4 new pedals. The Chelsea LCD sound system, massive fuzz. Gary, the Idols, PWM, fuzz, silos, which I don't know too much about, but I'm assuming this is just delay kind of thing. Okay, I'm sure we'll get into this. And the time shadows. Now, the time shadows was the really interesting one for me, because I have 2 brands that I love on this earth. Death by Audio and EarthQuaker FX. Recently, I've been looking at what pedal to get, and what do you know? EarthQuaker, Death by Audio, collaboration.
We've melded minds.
And I think melding minds is what this pedal's meant to do. Is that correct?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty wicked. So you've already been through in depth with Lee, kind of the new stuff, but there's also so many pedals that you've put out that are just, they're always top tier, and people talk about them as being such top tier. And I actually I love the sounds, and so many of the bands that I love use your effects. I have such little experience actually playing your effects. And I know things like the Rainbow Machine are super popular, the Data Corruptor is super popular. I just wanted to go through with you some of this stuff that gets looked over, I think, from probably a lot of the straight down the middle guitarists in the world, because I think people look at this stuff and they get intimidated, but really, like, the musical application for a lot of this stuff is nuts. So I figured, what better way to demonstrate EarthQuaker effects than making a horrendous mix of EarthQuaker based noises, and we make some nuts sounds together.
Sure.
And I thought that would be a good place to start.
Yeah.
Now, I've got the Avalanche Run plugged in, and because I wanted to come out stereo into 2 amps. I've got 2 guitars, normal E standard guitar and like a B standard Telecaster. And I think we're just going to plug some stuff in, and I might ask you some questions, and we're going to go through it. I actually still haven't tried any of these out yet. I've just had to listen to you playing this downstairs, and it was so loud. I couldn't edit because it was so loud. So I really want to try this stuff out, and also I'm super interested in this. I didn't know it was anything to do with LCD sound system.
Yeah, and you know, it's an interesting pedal in that it's a big muff, and LCD sound system is, for lack of a better term, like kind of a dance punk band. They are by no means known for being heavy in their traditional sense.
The bass tone carries that band 100%.
This is correct. Like that's like, I love LCD.
Me too.
And like that is one of my favorite parts about them, is just the tone of the bass.
Yeah.
And, you know, just the records in general, but it's just like a really good sound. It's like hi-fi, lo-fi.
Yeah, 100%. I know James Murphy is so particular about everything he
does.
And I've been desperate to see him. The tickets are so expensive.
Incredible live band.
Yeah, I think we should just start plugging some stuff in.
Okay.
Can I start with the Acapulco Gold?
Sure.
So I get grilled a lot. So on this channel, I'll get wheeled out to do some doomy things or some kind of sludgy stuff. And every time I do a video, people go mental at me in the comments because this isn't in the video. And I'll tell you why this isn't in the video, because it's always out of stock. It's always out of stock. Every time I've done a video, it's just always consistently been bought up by everyone. This might be one of the gnarliest pedals we stock.
It does one thing.
You say it does one thing, though. I have it on good authority that turning this down is a pretty gnarly overdrive just in general anyway.
I mean, I guess let's say it does 2 things.
Yeah, but I feel like you could say that with a lot of your pedals, though. Like, yes, you can look at something like this and go, wow, like, there's so much stuff you can do, and blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But equally, like, my buddy uses this with just all the oscillator taken out on the square wave signal, and he loves that tone for that's just a standard rhythm guitar tone.
Oh, that's awesome.
I can say the same with the Acapulco Gold, because you have a pretty low, just a good distortion, and then turning it up, it's a sub-model T. Right, that's the point of this, right?
Essentially, yeah. I mean, it just has so much output, it'll drive whatever is coming after it. And I mean, you know, it's my memory of a very specific Model T. I was playing drums in this kind of like doomy, sludgy band called Teeth of the Hydra, and we would practice in a room that was like half the size of this room. Like, it was like 10 feet by 10 feet square. And the guitarist had, I believe, it was a Model T and 2 412s, and then this Sun, I think, OR120 and a 612. And that's like full stage volume in this room, just like blasting me in the face. So awesome. This was like my attempt to recreate that guitar tone, because it's an awesome, massive guitar tone. And it is really actually pretty dynamic, despite it being like just so like aggressive in your face.
And again, I've never tried one. I've just heard it a million times. And what I'm going to do straight away is I'm going to switch over to the telly. Unreal.
That sounds sick through these amps.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, man.
Yeah.
I always love that percussive thing, and then putting something like this on the top of it is just unreal, man. But like...
So
nuts.
Yeah, pretty much like what's happening above this point is just hammering the preamp. And like all the kind of magic I think of that, like as you turn this up, like you're not really getting like a really like tonal shift.
Yeah.
But what happens is in the sustained notes and the way that things decay, it just sounds like it's crumbling on fire.
Yeah. Oh man, I love that thing. I feel like the more pedals we add to this, the more like just absolutely disgusting it's going to be. So I feel like we should add another one. I don't want to stick too long on anything. Hizumitas, can we do the Hizumitas? I'll take the Acapulco Gold out for now. Boris, talk to me about Boris, man.
Amazing band. Such great people too. At this point, most people who are familiar with EarthQuaker should know this is a signature pedal for Wada from the band Boris, and it is a recreation of her Elk Big Muff Sustainer, which was shockingly hard to nail. I did 7 or 8 revisions of it before I got it, and it was only because I had the exact same pedal that she has. Everything about it is the same. Parts are exactly the same. Looks exactly the same. Mine sounds nothing like hers at all. Her sounds exactly like this.
Okay.
Mine sounds like big and woolly and like.
Do you prefer yours?
Yeah, okay. just not the same. Like just like kind of muffled sounding is how mine sounds. This pretty much is exactly what her sounds like.
Cool.
And again, another like crushingly loud band, but they're like extremely dynamic. You know? They'll have like a J-pop record, like a doom metal record, and then like a thrash metal record.
Bands like that, I think, do really well in like the doomy, like weird psychedelic spaces. I think anyone that's just a little bit more avant-garde than anyone else gets more of a cult following.
Yeah, and they're like so good at what they do.
Unreal. Absolutely obsessed with this pedal. I've played this one before, and this is cool. Yeah, awesome, man. I feel like we need to add pedals. I keep obsessing on this one pedal. I feel like we need to start combining things. Right, where do I go? Where do I go from here? What do we do?
You want to try the Rainbow Machine?
Let's do the Rainbow Machine. When you make your pedals, like some pedal makers will have like a philosophy of keeping like their main sound of the pedal at 12, right? A lot of people plug into pedals and keep everything at 12.
Interesting. I don't really tend to do that, but I do aim for it sounds good everywhere.
Okay,
but
fine.
The Rainbow Machine is kind of a hard one in which it does something different everywhere. Yeah. But I have a starting point.
I would characterize people who love your pedals as every pedal they try out, they go, they just turn everything full.
Yeah, it is kind of important that it should sound really good if everything is all the way up.
Yeah. Do you have like a favorite setting with it?
Yeah, I'm gonna set it how I typically use it, which would be a little like a chorus, a little like a double track type effect.
Yeah,
so,
I've heard the chorus in this is like super underrated because I've seen people look at it and go, oh, there's so much stuff.
It's sort of like it's obvious. It's like most usable setting that you can do with it, and then if you like slightly.
So good. We got 3 pedals. 3 pedals so far, and it already sounds this good. Sorry. Oh my god. Okay. What do we add? Bit Commander.
Sure.
Should we try that? I know nothing about a bit commander.
Safe version of a data corrupter, I'll say.
Okay.
Just a similar sound, square wave, monophonic octaves.
Okay.
There's a lot more to data corrupter, obviously. But
okay, yeah.
I would say similar in vibe.
What this is the Schumann PLL?
Yeah, I mean, it's a similar type of effect. I have to say I didn't really necessarily use the Schumann PLL in the development of it. Okay. Obviously very aware of it. I think I used probably the same notes that he used. For some reason I remember the name. I think the name is Doug Marston, I think is his name, but he wrote a book about making music with like CMOS
nice one, Doug.
things.
Okay.
And there's this note on how to divide and multiply the frequencies in there, and it's the same kind of
getting super
fundamental building block, I think, that the Schumann PLL is built on. Justin from the band Locust sent me his Schumann PLL to try out after we sent him one of these, which is a very nice gesture. That's a very expensive and fragile pedal.
Yeah.
And I don't think that the two are, I mean, they're fundamentally similar, but they don't sound the same.
What I've heard is that like people can look at this and or start twiddling knobs and go, oh, it's uncontrollable, whatever.
Yeah.
But compared to what I know of the Schumann,
which is totally uncontrollable.
Absolutely unusably uncontrollable, and this is like a refined...
You can repeat stuff. I mean, you could probably repeat stuff with the Schumann too, if like I spent a little bit more time with it, but this one is like I think it's pretty easy to get something that is good out of it. Do you know what I mean? Yes. And this is my go-to.
Go on. It's like being stung by wasps. It's like an onslaught of like very painful.
So yeah, I mean, it can be like a total chaos generator, and then like, but if you like play just single notes like on a neck pickup, like.
That's the most satisfying thing about it. I don't know, it just kills it dead as well.
Yeah.
I want to hear it. My buddy said this is like one of the gnarliest distortions. Gnarly, man.
Yeah. And so one thing that like these two kind of have for them is normally like when someone creates an effect like this, it's like a real hard square wave type fuzz. They're a little bit more natural. It's almost just like kind of like a high gain like distortion that is running into these like the divide and multiply functions of this. This one is another pedal that a lot of people, we got a lot of requests just to make the distortion alone, which is just this bass tone. It's like a really natural sounding kind of distortion.
Oh, it's so like, there's so much like high-end information and just like percussion.
And it sounds really good, like when you're hammering chords like that.
Gnarly. Oh, I love that it just
yeah. And then it just has like these, it's like 2 octaves down, 1 octave.
Okay, right, cool. It's so gnarly. This is the thing. You only get this from certain pedal brands, like that feeling of just like, I don't know. It's the noise thing, man. It's the noise thing. It's like, it bugs me so much when you can't turn up a knob enough. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, it does. I don't like 2 things. One is where you can't turn something up enough, and the other is like you turn something up all the way and it like either breaks down or like falls apart or becomes like, it's like it does a thing but it's an unusable
or it gets quieter. That's like one of the most annoying things ever. But
so like I spend a lot of time like making sure that like the controls have like as wide of a range as they possibly can, but still do something interesting.
Yeah, but it's obvious you get it. This is the thing, where it's like, and also I have to like. Actually, the flexi switch thing is, I want it in every pedal.
Oh, thanks.
I want it in every pedal. The amount of times I've like, oh, that's a really cool delay, but I can't. I wish I could switch it out to a momentary switch or something. Like I've always thought like using pedals as like almost like drum fills, like end bars, being able to do noises and stuff. Like I get why you wouldn't want to have something like the data corrupter on all the time for some people.
Right.
But the idea of having it as a momentary effect, it's also really, really cool.
Well, we actually just put out a thing called Flexi Loops, which you can just plug whatever pedals you want into the loops and then add that
completely accidental.
Kind of a switching thing to it.
Completely accidental.
Thanks for setting me up for the pitch.
God, I did
we make a great...
You're welcome. Thank you very much. That is just something I wish every pedal brand had. I have to try the Time Shadows now.
Sure.
What's your relationship like with Oliver?
I think we got a pretty good, loving relationship. No, I was just a super big fanboy of Death by Audio, and he is like the nicest dude. Yeah. You know, we would hang out with them at like the NAMM show and stuff like that, and I think we have very similar backgrounds. Yeah. Kind of coming from the world of punk rock, and definitely very DIY. He's their shop is amazing. Yeah. You know.
I saw the Show Us a Junk.
Yeah.
Hilarious. I laughed the whole way through it. When he's picking up the Jazz Masters out the piles and everything's
I love like how much anxiety it gives people like to watch him. Like,
but he knows it as well. He's laughing as he has
to. But it's like, you know, I would say he's a realist. Yeah. You know, it's like you can do that with guitars and they're still going to play and they're going to be fine. I mean,
if you guys don't know, like we don't stock Death by Audio, but Oliver Ackerman is in a band. He is Death by Audio, right? He is in a band called A Place to Bury Strangers, who are absolutely amazing and amazing.
Incredible bands. It's so hard to describe them, I think, to people. But like, I mean, if you go to the show, like, first of all, if you can see them through all the fog and the blinding lights and everything, like within like the first 30 seconds, like everyone is smashing everything on stage. But the sound that is coming out is good. It's like good it's awesome. Music.
But like they're one of the only bands, and there's very few bands that can do this. But they're a band you can hear through pictures. If like, do you know what I'm saying? Like all you have to do is see a photo of a stage with a guitar 50 feet up in the air, or however like it's. And you go, I know exactly what this music sounds like.
The photo that I think you're referencing, where it's like, I think they made a poster out of it.
That's the one.
Cable and the guitar. That's the first time I ever saw them.
Really?
I was at show. It was Austin Psych Fest. It's kind of weird. Like, I was aware of A Place to Bury Strangers and a fan of Death by Audio, but hadn't somehow put the two together, despite like liking both. I don't know why. I don't know what's wrong with me. Maybe I just hadn't seen photos or something. But like that show, literally, like every once in a while, like I felt the same way like when I saw Idols. I felt the same way when I saw Sun. Your brain, it just changes like the way you think about music. It's like that was one of the best shows I've ever seen. Place to Bury Strangers at Austin Psych Fest, especially like when I was like, I remember standing there like when he threw the guitar like 100 feet in the air. Like
the photos, I'll put some photos on the screen.
I'm sure he does it every show. Yeah. So maybe
you see the guitars. I mean, like
maybe I'm wrong with the photo.
Yeah, I mean, if Oliver Ackerman isn't proof that like you can smash the guitar up, glue it back together, and play it at the next show if you know what you're doing. You see some of these guitars, and like Jamie has a series called Show Us Your Junk, where he goes around these pedal makers and just they show their junk.
Yeah.
And Oliver has some junk.
He does.
It's a really good video, but there's a great 10-second scene of him picking up a guitar that he's looking for, and it's underneath a pile of 9 other jazz masters, and they're all getting caught on each other, and the strings are. It's cringeworthy. If you're the kind of person who's looking after your 59 Les Paul or that's your dream, you're gonna watch that video and have a panic attack. It's great.
I remember talking to him after one of the shows they played in Cleveland. Like the whole time we're having a conversation, it was like out in the parking lot behind a House of Blues. And we're just talking, and he's gluing his Jazzmaster back together and putting like all these wood clamps on him, and he puts it back in the gig bag.
Yeah.
And it's like, how old is that guitar? He's like, oh, I just bought it. It was brand new for this tour. It's like completely decimated.
Absolutely. It's just chaos. It's just chaos. And I love that. I mean, like, there are specific brands that just have the ethos about them, like yourself, like Oliver. And it's a vibe, man. And they have to get it.
Yeah.
The person who makes the switches like you do has to get it. The person who makes the knobs like you do has to get it. And
well, he definitely gets it. I love everything. And I mean, I think he's probably similar to me in which he's just like creating stuff all the time, and it doesn't all always come out. Like you look at A Place to Bury Strangers gear, and it's all like one-off. Really Death by Audio and stuff, and it's like amazing looking. I said it before in the video with Lee, but like he like uses the best knobs before like I get a chance to like,
get them yourself.
I'm definitely like very influenced by like their whole aesthetic and everything. I really like it a lot. He's
cool guys, and like yourself, they just end up making pedals for all the best bands. I was so obsessed with Ty Segall and all the California garage stuff.
They have an incredible like artist roster.
Well, like yourself.
Of like-minded people, and like I feel like we come from similar backgrounds. So, like when we did the Time Shadows was like a collaboration, like kind of brought on by the Reverb pedal movie. They'd actually pitched to us to work with a very well-known, much larger brand, and I was like, no,
really? I
want to work with Death by Audio.
Yeah,
and they were like, yeah.
And it sounds like hell, right? I mean, it just sounds like.
Kind of.
Yeah, it just sounds like a panic attack. Again, all good pedals should sound like a panic attack. That's such a big.
So we'll just do the noon. So this is the original EarthQuaker side. So the filter is like the sensitivity control for an envelope.
Okay, see this was the thing that excited me the most, because just hearing it be turned up, just even playing a chord. Sounds like a horn.
Yeah.
Awesome.
I feel like it's got a lot of different, like, kind of symphonic type sounds into it.
Man. I mean, this is the thing. This is awesome. Just being able to play softly.
Yeah.
Also, the sub is insane as well. I'm not sure. Hopefully that picks up on the mics, but the sub in this room is insane.
Yeah. The more amps and volume that you get, the better that sounds.
I bet. If I got a net pickup, I'm just like. I mean, I already want it. One side, I've barely touched the knobs, and I want it. Okay, so the Death by Audio side.
So all the way over there.
Yeah.
And just an explanation, like time and span is always time and repeats. And then filter kind of does something different in every mode. Death by audio is like, it's all like the mix level is always there, but it's changing like a filter frequency. Yeah. And I think it's also messing with the delay time a little bit because it gets both sounds like a filter and kind of like when you're changing like the control, like a manual control on like a flanger or something like that. And what's nice about like the first version didn't have expression control, and you can assign this expression to any of the three main controls. Assigning it to the filter in the Death by Audio is wild. It's like super cool. Yeah, it's like
sick, man. Whenever Ollie makes something delay, it has like it's the one word I think about it is it's a gonk. It has a gonk to it. There's like a metallic gonk. It's like,
you think gonk and I think gong. So it's very, very close.
It's like it's just like, and I'm assuming if I turn up the span, it's gonna get proper wild on me.
It'll go, I think.
Wild.
Yeah.
The filter is so sick! It just sounds like gonk, again, gonk. I'm not even playing any notes, I'm just hitting the guitar and fiddling with knobs, man. This is what
sometimes that's what works best.
Yeah, just...
This is kind of one of my favorite sounds, like the behind the bridge thing with this in...
Nuts, man, nuts. Oh God, this is just not going to win. We're just going to keep going and going and going. Chelsea?
Sure.
I feel like we had to try Chelsea out. Sorry. Who used this last? Why is the level on so low?
I don't know.
Was that Lee? Was Lee playing this? Lee playing this. Right. Lee, what are you doing? Right. Watch this.
It's because it was Chelsea. That's why.
It's already, I can tell it's going to be like a good punk fuzz. It's got that like thick bass end. Gnarly. Gary, you're going in. The data corruptor is like, I think, one of your most underrated pedals.
Me too.
It's like, I think it's just. Do you think it just scares people?
I think it's really misunderstood.
Gary, I know what you do. If you want, again, I'm not going to get super into this stuff, but if you want to see what these do, please check out the video that Jamie did with Lee, where they're going to go through these in depth. I imagine you guys went through this in depth quite a lot. Did Lee say what he used this, Lee Kinnan say what he used this for, in terms of like, was there specific bits?
He did actually, there are specific bits and songs that he uses them for. So he used our old pedal, the Gray Channel, all the time. I think he left it on.
That was his main thing.
That's kind of like the main drive sound. And he did share with me like the settings. So this left side of the pedal is the Gray Channel side. He didn't use the diode selector switch, so we just removed that.
Sick.
So it's just like volume and gain. And that's just like pretty much what's driving his amps, you know?
Okay. It's just the sound of Idol straight away. It's the sound of it. It's what he sounds like, man. Oh man, cool.
Yeah, that run into a high watt and a PB Deuce for some reason, which I love.
The PB Deuce is super loud amp. I think that's what Ty Segall also uses as well.
Oh really? Yeah, they're making a comeback.
PB are coming back, man. I have to switch to the telly.
I think I asked him I think two of the last conversations I had with him, I asked him maybe too many questions about why he's using a PB. Yeah. He loves it though, but you know, I find it fascinating. Like I made him like a proto of this, like when they played by us in Cleveland, Ohio, just like on perf board, and I made like some very like minor changes to the circuit, and like he picked up on it like right away. So he was like very dialed into like the sound of, that pedal.
Positively or negatively, was he like, no.
He just wanted it back to exactly how it was. I made some minor adjustments. He's like, put it back. You know, the request for the right side was make me a fuzz that sounds like it's broken.
Yeah.
So,
fine.
You know, something that he was like, it should go away and then it should come back.
Okay.
So, you know, it's a pulse width modulation fuzz, narrow pulse width. It's like so narrow you can't even hear it anymore. And then wider is like a really cool, like kind of like the audible effect is kind of like phase shifting, but it's more than that, I think. So
I think hearing the acronym PWM is just going to scare most guitarists, but then anyone who knows what they're doing with synths and stuff like that.
Yeah, it's like it's a very common synthesizer effect, but it's using an envelope to like shape the pulse width modulation. So like this control called yes is really a sensitivity control, and it reacts to like how hard you hit the strings.
And we will hit it hard as well. I mean, why not? I feel like
if you turn it all the way down, it's just like a really good sounding like. Yeah. And it like, you know, it's a really good gating property.
I was literally just going to say.
It'll also sustain for a long time. And one thing that like Lee uses a lot of like low output guitars, like a lot of those like single coil Fender guitars. So this has like a super wide range. Like a hotter guitar will like throw it like out of.
Yeah. Oh my god.
So like this, like if he hit it real hard and then lit it, just ring.
Get to safety. The pit's about to open. Oh, that's gnarly.
Yeah. So it can do, like, I mean, I think it's like just like a really interesting like sound shaper.
Oh man, this is a good day to have at work, man.
Or do you want to cover the Afterneath?
Oh, we can do the Afterneath.
Let's do that. We've covered delay.
I know nothing about this, but I'm gonna lie. Lots of words. I feel like just going back to this as well.
Yeah.
I feel like everyone needs to learn as well. I think if you see a pedal with words on it you don't understand, it's probably going to be really cool. Like that should be it, right?
We started a little bit of a like the Rainbow Machine has a control called Magic on it because it couldn't think of anything better to call it. It sounds like magic, and like that started a little bit of a trend of like naming things not exactly something understandable.
Yeah.
Lee like really nailed it with this.
Oosh is a great name for a noise.
That's it. I'm a fan of
unapologetically English as well. Just oosh.
At one point he wanted every single control to be called Moore, but we couldn't put Gary Moore on a single on a pedal, as it turns out.
Yeah, is that why like a licensing thing, or is it just
something? Yeah.
Oh man, that's a weird one.
But the Afterneath, I think, is for a long time like maybe the pedal that we are maybe most known for.
Right, so what's going on here? It's not happening.
A lot of stuff is happening.
Okay. Whoa, the pre-delay is crazy!
Yeah.
Weird. Oh, that's sick. I like that. Again, pedal that sounds like a panic attack.
Yeah.
Perfect.
I mean, at the heart of it is a reverb pedal, and as you bring the drag down, it sort of it reduces the sample rate, but it's like pulling delay lines apart, so then you get that like real pingy. It's like multiple reverbs happening at the same time. And then kind of a feature that we added later was this mode. It has like a pitch shifting like kind of artifact to it, like to the drag. So it's like octaves and octaves, fifths, and there's like a minor scale, a major scale, and
weird.
All this stuff. It's not really a pitch shifter though. It's like the frequency that the clock makes when it abruptly changes to change like the sample.
Oh, so that's like it's like an automated like delay time.
So
thing.
What you're hearing is.
So it's like stepped. It's like a stepped time.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, okay, right.
Yeah. Like kind of the sound like when you.
Which is the best part of every delay pedal as well.
This one is kind of coded to not do that.
Okay.
But like, I hate saying stuff like this, but I'm just gonna say it because it's the facts. When this pedal came out, there was no reverbs like this on the market.
Okay.
Now there's like 1 million reverbs that are like these ambient kind of do it all glitchy. Like
yeah, like you have one
to
pedal
varying
on
degrees, and they're all different. They really, truly are, and like they all have their place. But at the time, like when this came out, I feel like people were like, "What the hell is that?" And like, it totally like changed the trajectory of EarthQuaker. Honestly,
something new comes out, everyone goes, I'm not sure about that. But there's like, is it really a need for this? And then suddenly within a year, there's about 50 other pedals doing exactly the same thing in different ways.
There's quite a lot now, but this one still like kind of holds its own. Like it's still a strong like seller for us, and like it is one of those like you set the controls in one way and then you slightly vary them, and it's like a whole new sound to it.
Do you prefer it without presets purely so people can't? It's almost like an experimental pedal.
Like we didn't have the capabilities at the time when it came out to do them, and now I kind of just like it as it is. Like it's sort of like I am like in some ways like a purist, in which it's like I liked gear that like it might just do one thing that's cool, but like that is unrepeatable, and you just use it for that thing
in its own existence.
And like
itself,
like you find the setting you like, you leave the controls there, and that's that. If you like if you want another setting, you buy a second one. That's kind of I am like of that kind of mindset.
I get that,
but like I do see like this pedal would like kill with presets, I think, because there's so many different like tones you can get out of it and different styles.
Weird automations as well and stuff. Beautiful, man.
Thank you. It's like one of those that you have to do very little and the pedal will do a lot of work for you. But like, I
bet this is awesome with keyboards. I'm just saying.
It is. We made a Eurorack version of it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, and it gets used a lot on like synthesizers and like movie soundtracks and stuff like that.
Oh, that's wicked, dude. Silos, and then we're done.
The heart of this thing, a digital analog and tape delay settings.
It makes everything so much bigger.
Yeah.
Like honestly, I think having a delay as an always-on pedal is so underrated.
Yeah, and that I mean, I guess I'll get to it when we get to the analog setting, but that's how I use that KMD delay all the time. Kind of the mix is down a little bit, but it just created this like sort of big like reverb effect underneath it. Not so much like you couldn't hear
but
it.
It's a space thing. I wouldn't even call it a reverb. It's not
like a rhythmic effect, but it does fill space like reverb does.
Yeah, there's a good like level where you can kind of like, all the dry signal was there, but it just brings so much space to it as well, especially going through 2 amps as well, which is the way everyone should, in my opinion.
So that's the digital delay, and you can hear like it retains like the clarity of the top end like the digital does, but it will go away eventually.
Yeah.
As opposed to just being this like super strong delay.
Yeah. This is immediately surfy. I love delays like this, man. They're so cool. And again, this is why your switching is awesome, because you can use it at the end of bars and then just momentarily. My favorite. Okay, go on.
And then this would be analog. The tape it gets brighter and darker as it.
Oh, that's sick.
So I kind of had it set to self-oscillate a little bit there, but.
Oompa. Mate, this has been great. It's just so nice to go through this stuff and just be able to talk to you, the maker of this stuff, about how
Likewise,
awesome
this was a lot of fun.
Dude. Like, I know I'm just heaping on praise and heaping on like how sick this stuff is. I hope that's not too weird, but like, man, it's so cool.
I really appreciate it. It's been a lot of fun.
Thank you very much.
I enjoyed the chaos that you generate out of this guitar. It sounds awesome.
Thank you. Yeah, this is yeah. I mean, if you're interested in any of this stuff, links below. But honestly, you would honour me if you could play my guitar.
Sure.
And make some horrible stuff.
Sure.
Is that okay?
Yeah. Can I play the detune guitar?
Yeah. We will end this with a horrendous wall of noise, which I feel like this is an EarthQuaker video, and I doubt you did that with Lee's video.
I almost did. That sounds cool.
Yeah, that does sound pretty cool.
So,
all right, what do you want?
You're gonna knob me?
I'm gonna knob you. Awesome, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
That was so fun. Yes.